What is up, ladies and gentlemen, here on M Cubed? Of course, I am Schmook, and this is Comic Adaptations Weekly. So, as you know, we usually do this on Mondays, so it's just been, it's been a little different. It's the holidays, we get a little crazier, and I've been a little bit more free on Tuesdays as of late, but I guess I'll do some, just about me real quick. So we will for sure do it next Monday, which, as you all know who celebrate, it's Christmas Day. And I plan on doing a little bit of a Christmas special where, like, I'll just go over some movies or or specials or whatever that involve Christmas related things, And then maybe we'll just talk about just Christmas movies in general because it's fun, it's fun. But, we have a lot in that atmosphere. We have like the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. We have or holiday special. We could even talk the Star Wars Christmas special or holiday special. I think they're all just called holiday special. But yeah, Harris got to go, but, it's all good. But hopefully we get some more people in here soon. But enjoy your movie, my man. Enjoy your movie. But yeah, that's basically what we're looking forward to. And then New Year's Day, I will probably not be doing it because I think that's going to be a lot of rest recuperation from the new year because me and my friends go hard on that day. So, and then so that'll probably be on the 2nd. But I think after that, we should be able to be rolling with Mondays for Comic Adaptations Weekly, especially since we're going to be getting Echo. So that Monday, I'm going to want to talk about probably just that whole show. I'm probably going to binge that weekend. So, yeah. And I guess by the Christmas episode and by that, and by New Year's, I guess January 2nd, I'll be able to go through all of What If. I know on the Christmas one, I'll probably be able to talk about like the few that are out. I think it'll be 4 episodes at that point. Let's see, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and the 25th. So we'll have half the episodes of What If to talk about, and then we'll talk about the other half on New Year's Day or day after, All right. So I think that's really all there is on our end. But I just wanted to keep you all up to date on that. And if anyone else is watching, say hey in the chat. I want to know who's up in here. So yeah, there's no review on this one. Last week we had a fun little topic where we just talked about, like the startup of a superhero show. And I was going to do like what makes a good comic book show. That's what I was going to do for this episode. But I think I'll hold that until for a different topic when there's less news and less content coming out because we got some bombshells to talk about. So that's what the majority of this episode is going to be. It's just going to be me talking some major things that have gone down, frankly, within the past 24 hours. And it's kind of some wild shit. So, obviously, the elephant in the room, the major news, no pun intended, is Jonathan Majors. He was found guilty on 2 counts, and odds are he might find some prison time. We don't know that for sure. He's not going to be sentenced yet. I think that's in February. But he is found guilty, and basically immediately after, he was shit canned from Marvel and Disney. Okay? So there's a lot of things up with that, So for starters, it's huge for the MCU because a lot of it's been around Kang the Conqueror as the next Thanos, And we've got a lot more of Kang than we did Thanos until Infinity War, right? Because Infinity War is where it was like, oh, this is Thanos' movie. It's called The Avengers. Yes, we get all the Avengers in it, but that was Thanos' movie. He was the main character of that, right? And that's where you get to know the villain. There wasn't even that much buildup. You have an after-credits scene for the first Avengers movie where you have him just smile after the battle for New York, right? And then you have a little cameo within Guardians of the Galaxy. And then you have, after Age of Ultron, fine, I'll do it myself. And I think that's all we saw of Thanos you get a lot of mentions of him, sure, like within Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and whatnot, right? But then we finally see him and have him do his whole thing in Infinity War. So, with Kang the Conqueror, we've gotten him as the main bad guy of a movie with Ant-Man Quantumania. Not a good movie, but he was really good in it. Like Jonathan Majors, I thought was phenomenal in that movie. I don't like that he loses the ants and whatnot, especially since it's considered that this guy murked Thor at some point. Um, but he was menacing, right? Where he's like, "Which the Avengers? Which one are you? Have I killed you before?" And I'm like, "That's crazy. Like that's some good dialogue." Remember when that trailer came out? I'm like, "Oh, this movie's gonna hit." It didn't, but he was good at it. He was good. But then we get a lot of him within Loki, right? You get him at the end of season 1, and then you get him as Victor Timely throughout season 2, right? And you get a good mention of him at the end. So now the TVA is kind of just like it's less so dealing with the timelines. It's more so like tracking Kang variants. It's kind of like it's like a ultra police facility for Kang variants. That's what it seems like. Because Loki's really keeping everything together now, just timeline wise. So it's like they're more so they're not going to be pruning stuff. They're looking out for potential dangerous variants for Kang. But the way Loki ends, it's like, oh, okay, now they're okay. They dealt with, or Ant-Man was able to deal with one, um, was able to deal with one variant, and then of course Timely doesn't make it. Or maybe he did. I don't remember if he did or not. Well, he never got the handbook. They were able to fix that, so now he's not going to be able to be. He's just going to be some guy, right? Just to get rid of that possibility of him being the Kang at some point, right? So it's like it seems like they ended the Kang arc with Loki, and it like who knows? We might still get a version of Kang because of course we lost Majors. Kang gang done, lost its thing. Dang shit, Harris, you're a funny guy, huh? That's a good comment. That's a good comment. But ultimately, where does Marvel go, right? And there's a lot of areas they could, like again, you can just recast because they had obviously a whole plan for Kang the Conqueror, but as we've seen kind of recently, the MCU is losing a little bit of its mojo when it comes to projects and releases and what's coming out and when it's coming out. Because like we're seeing with the new Captain America movie. Hey, Carrie, good to have you here. Yeah, say hey, say hey. But if you have anything to say about Kang, let me know. Let me know. But there's a lot of avenues. It's just like it's weird. Like I don't think this is a really unique thing that's going on within our sphere, right? Because usually when it's come to recast, it's been like mostly behind the scenes type of stuff, where like Edward Norton or Terrence Howard, where they're just like, all right, we're just not going to work with you anymore, and you guys were only in one movie, so we're just going to recast, and it's going to be fine. And that's how we get Don Cheadle and Mark Ruffalo, who have been in the MCU for years, well over 10 years now at this point. Now, the thing is, I feel the main problem with Kang being recasted was that apparently they weren't even going to go the Kang route until they saw Jonathan Majors and how he acted in the for Kang, because I think it was just going to be like for Loki, and then Ant-Man would have been a fun little thing. Carrie, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing awesome too. Happy holidays. I hope you're doing well. But Kang, his acting, like Majors, is what brought them to be like, oh, this guy is going to be our big bad for this multiversal phase. And it makes sense because Kang's a great character for it. I've always loved the character of Kang the Conqueror, and it's like it makes sense for this multiversal shit, right? And now you fired your guy that turned you on to being like, oh, this is gonna be our big bad. So there's options. One, they can just completely scrap everything involving Kang, even though you have that after credit scene with all these Kang variants in like a Coliseum type of situation, right? Which is obviously building up towards something crazy, right? Which would have been Kang Dynasty, which is a part of the other news is that now it's just being referred to as Avengers 5 temporarily. So it's interesting, you know? Where do they go? Now, if I'm them, I think one, Kang is probably the easiest character to recast. But I'm curious, once it's all started, they probably were already starting to shift gears a little bit, you know? Like making Doom the big bad. Like they fired Jeff Loveness, who of course was a writer for Ant-Man, right? Quantumania, which involved Kang heavily, but they fired him probably because of all the major stuff. And that's why they had Michael Waldron on to just handle whatever's going on there. Because I mean, he did Doctor Strange and he did part of Loki, right? And it shows that he knows how to write these characters pretty well, in my opinion. Because I love Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. I think what he did with Wanda was really sick. I think Doctor Strange was as Doctor Strange as ever. Wong was awesome in it. And yeah, Carrie, I love what you brought up because I think that's what they're probably going to do. I think they could recast him. What's up, David? Nice to have you here. I think they could recast him, but it'll probably just be for a moment. It'll probably just be for like a little bit of a scene, and then you can have Doom just wreck shit and just destroy this Kang, and like no other Kangs will be able to mess with Doom. So that's why you have to get the Avengers involved. And now I know this shit, but I don't know how well that'll translate to screen. I think it could be a cool scene, but I don't know where you take that story wise. But they have the right guy on board because I like what Michael Waldron has done. And Feige obviously loves the guy because he was originally supposed to be writing Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie, right? Kang is essentially super evil Rick Sanchez. I mean, kind of not wrong. Not wrong. But I think Doom is a good way to make it where you can just kind of restart everything, like have some sick multiversal stuff, and then you can do like Battle World, where you bring in all these sick variants from wherever and have them all be on this Battle World, right? That's where you can maybe have a Miles Morales interacting with Tom Holland's Parker. And then you can have Toby, you can have Andrew in there for playing Spidey. Then you can have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. You can have whoever the new Wolverine's going to be. So I think that's fun for it to be like, oh, we gotta shut down God Emperor Doom, right? The man who is God, and then you can have the Fantastic Four in there, and I think basically just do your MCU version of that. I think it's Jonathan Hickman. I believe that's the writer of one of the newer Secret War runs, which apparently is what these new Avengers movies are supposed to be heavily inspired by. So, and I'm like, if you do, that's what all the rumors are. And if you're going to do that, well, I don't think Kang was involved. He might have been. I've never read it, but I've heard people talk about that. I listen to a lot on YouTube. But I know it's a run I definitely want to read because it seems pretty sick based on what I've watched, right? So I think it'll involve just like Reed Richards going toe to toe with Doom, and then you have everyone involved. You can bring back Robert Downey Jr. You can bring back Chris Evans. You can bring back ScarJo. You can bring back whoever. Okay, Terry. So I liked what they've done with Kang. It's just I think again Ant-Man. I just don't think it was a very good movie. I think that was the problem. I think he was good in it, and I think he was one of the better parts of the Loki show. So I don't know if I don't know if I agree that he's not a good character because I think he could work for what they're setting up. With the time chair, just really mess with time and like multiverses and whatnot. I think he works for it. But again, Doom, they could easily just have. I think the easiest route to me is just like to say that Loki season 2 is just the end of this Kang character, and then you just with Captain America, Spider-Man, Thunderbolts, you're really making this more like this tiff between the heroes on Earth, right? Our universe, right? And then you have all these incursions happening, like of course with like the Marvels or Doctor Strange, what he's dealing with. And that's how you can bring in Doom and then Fantastic Four, who are apparently in a different universe. So you have all of our main heroes who are in our universe, like they're dealing with each other in some way. Where you have Kingpin running the show in New York, you have General Ross, now President Ross, played by Harrison Ford, going Red Hulk, and then there's a Thunderbolts team. You got to deal with the Celestial that's in the ocean, get adamantium from it, which is like the main rumor of it, and then so like basically it's going to be like vigilante versus like government sanctioned superhero teams, right? And that's what the Young Avengers could be, or the New Avengers, right? But then you can bring in the Fantastic Four, like seeing that Doom is the real problem. Oh, Mark, I'm sorry, my man. Did it sound like I said Dune? My bad. But yeah, I'm talking about Doom. Like you have a lot of risk going on with our heroes in Earth 616, which is what Feige likes to refer it as. Um, they're dealing with each other, and as well as like Kingpin and General Ross, and but then you got what's going on multiversal, right? Again with Strange, and then like what's happening with Monica over with his X-Men universe, and I'm trying to think of what movie, like Deadpool 3, right? That I think that's gonna have a lot of implications. Same with Fantastic Four, like how we're gonna lead into Doom being our main bad guy, right? So you can easily do that. So I think you just have Doom just be whoever your Avengers 5 villain is, and just make it Secret Wars Part 1, Part 2. That way it's just one Avengers movie, it's coherent, you film it back to back like Lord of the Rings style. So there's a lot of consistency, you get one director, and you just go with Doom being the main bad guy, where it can end with like the universe crumbling and Doom saves it, and then there's one world, right? And then by the end of that, that's how you can get your little reboot. That's when Feige can be like, all right, I think I'm done here. We made a movie just as big, if not bigger than Endgame, and then you can start fresh, but still have some of your characters like Tom Holland, Spider-Man, blah blah blah. See, and David, I'm with you the most. Like, yes, I think ultimately I want to see Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire and Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark interact in a movie, right? I want those three to be the mains of like whatever part two of the Secret Wars is. I think that'd be an awesome way to handle this. If that's the battle world, these are your veterans of each universe, right? It'd be a good send off for all these guys too, officially. Then you can reboot the MCU and just get a new actor for Wolverine, a new actor, or have Tom Holland have that passing the torch from Toby within these movies, right? And then have a new Iron Man, new Wolverine. I think it'd be sick. But David, I am with you. I think ultimately all that truly matters is that we need a well written story. And yes, you can have some fun fan stuff in there, but we need a good movie. And that's what I'm hoping Deadpool 3 will be, which can at least help us get some of this poor taste out of our mouths from recent stuff from the MCU, especially news wise. Let's hope Echo's good as well. Excuse me. Otherwise, the MCU's in a little bit of a pickle. But the main question is, do they keep going with Kang? I don't know if they do. Again, the major stuff, it sucks. We're probably gonna get a lot of news on this within sometime next year. It'll probably more so come out after Deadpool 3, like what their plans truly are, because you're gonna get more of these reshoots filmed for Captain America. Thunderbolts is reportedly gonna start filming in March. That's what Wyatt Russell said, at least, because of course he's playing U.S. agent, and that's what we have on the horizon. Eventually, Blade will start being made, but that'll be a fun little side thing. But that's how you bring in the supernatural side of the MCU, and then of course Spider-Man 4. I would like to think starts filming. Again, that movie's going to come out before whatever next Avengers movie comes out, right? And the rumors is that it's going to lead directly into it. It's going to involve some Civil War aspects between heroes and vigilantes. Oh, John, have they already renamed it? I haven't seen that news. If you can drop that, that'd be sick. That would help me out a lot. I didn't see that. I saw that it was currently called Avengers 5 right now after Majors. But I think it might just be called Secret Wars Part 1. At least that's what I was hearing. But I mean, I agree. Uh, I agree, John. I mean, it shows exactly that they are probably just done with the Kang storyline. If anything, you're going to see him again one more time, maybe with a different actor or just him in a suit or in the time chair, and he gets murked by Doom or Galactus or whatever they decide to do. But it's going to be Doom. There's no way they're doing the Secret Wars storyline and you're not going to have Doom. That's crazy. We'll see. We'll see. I know I'm excited ultimately still for the future of the MCU because all we need is just to see some of our favorite characters in good movies and interacting with some of our other favorite characters. That's what the Avengers is all about. What's the giggle, Mark? But I know he sold Avengers Tower, but what's Unit even? I don't even know what we're talking about here. Maybe I'm missing something big. I know it's been kind of rumored for a while that he sold it to who am I thinking of? The devil of the MCU or the Marvel Universe. I'm blanking. Oh, Doctor Who. Oh, sorry about that. Again, I don't watch Doctor Who. I know you love Doctor Who, Mark. I know you do. There's just so much to watch. I just don't know if it'll ever be my thing. It's like trying to get into like One Piece, for example, right? Uh, there's so much content. I don't know if I'll ever be able to watch it all, but I don't know why I'm blanking on who I'm thinking of though. But the rumor is that Sasha Baron Cohen is playing this character. I don't know why I'm blanking so hard. He's like the devil of the entire or Marvel universe. Starts with an M, but whatever. Anyway, uh, Jesus, 875 televised episodes and then 876 on Christmas. Crazy, crazy. And John, I mean, I hear great things about One Piece, but maybe I'll just have to watch this live action one. And that's the way I'll get that content. But I hear it's phenomenal. But I don't know. What are you guys most excited for the MCU going forward? Because I know this definitely puts a damper on it, but I think, I don't think a lot of people were too into Kang. I was really liking what they were doing overall with Kang. And I really like Jonathan Majors as an actor. But again, like all they have to do is just get a very talented guy that played Doom, get all these movies out that they've been working on, have been struggling with due to strikes or COVID or whatever. Like all these things have pushed back the MCU at least, I'd say 5 years, which is crazy altogether. Uh, at least 3 years pushed back because I know we were supposed to get Avengers 5, I think, next summer, but that's not happening. But again, the ball's starting to get rolling. Deadpool's filming again. Captain America is going through reshoots. It's going to be a lot of reshoots. But that movie's supposed to come out in February 2025. Thunderbolt starts filming very soon. Supposed to come out sometime next year. Howard Stern, isn't Howard Stern? Is he not Howard Stark? Or no? I'm thinking of something else. Well, maybe I'm not. I don't know, but what I hear most is that I think Marvel likes Cillian Murphy most, and apparently Ryan Reynolds or not Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling just had a meeting there too, so maybe he's being looked at to be Doom, which I would not love. I love the idea of Cillian Murphy being Doom. I think that'd be epic. But they were also talking about Mads Mikkelsen being Doom. I think that'd be sweet too. Yes, he was already in the MCU, but he was just a real quick one-off villain where I don't think it would matter that much, especially since he is in a mask most of the time. I think you just get that villainous presence with him, a good voice for him, and just a good actor overall. That's why you can also get like Giancarlo Esposito in there. I think he'd be good, even though I think he wants to be a hero role for once in his life because he's always a fucking villain in anything he does, right? But he's so good at it. That's why I would be okay with him being Doom. But I also kind of like the idea of him being Magneto, even though I hear that he wants to be Charles. So, but if you're joining the stream, say hey, say hey. It's good to have you here. Well, yeah, I mean, again, ultimately, it's just going to go the Doom route. I think that's the clear cut. That's what's happening with the MCU. Again, we have a long time until we get a new movie, which is Deadpool in July. July can't get here soon enough because I need some elite Marvel content because I don't think Echo's going to be it. I don't think What If's going to be it. And, Vigo. Vigo Mortensen would be sick as Doom. I like that choice. But yeah, I don't think Echo, I don't think What If, and I don't think X-Men 97 are going to be the big saviors of the MCU. But X-Men could have a chance. I think it could be sick if that show ends with them coming to live action, and that's how they're being put into our world, like literally the characters from X-Men 97. And then that'd be kind of sweet. But yeah, I think that's really going to be it for the majors topic, guys. We're just going to talk a little bit about... Okay, so this is some more on the video game side of things. So there was a group of hackers that apparently got into insomniacs database or whatever, and they got a lot of news for us, a lot of shit to talk about. So basically, it was like a week ago. I remember mentioning this. I think it was in my last stream too. That some guys were like, "Hey, Insomniac, you have 7 days to give us like $2 million, or we're releasing everything. Everything." They're like, "All right, try." So I'm surprised they didn't even release a Wolverine trailer. All this shit just got leaked. Where we're getting some gameplay. Obviously, it doesn't look that great, but it looks good for where they're at in terms of because apparently they have a release date that they leaked out that the Wolverine is going to come out in like probably like around the time Spider-Man 2 came out, but in 2026. So like fall 2026, and I'm like, that's a good bit away. That's like 3 years away almost, and a little less than 3 years. But seeing the gameplay, I'm like, this looks pretty good for it being almost 3 years away, you know. And the gameplay looks pretty dope. Like it looks like God of War shit, you know. And I just like Wolverine like putting his claws in someone and jumping through a window, taking a samurai sword that's like in him and then throwing it into someone's head. I'm like, that's dope. That's so cool. So yeah, it looks like it's taking a lot of inspiration from God of War, which is what we were hearing. So that's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. And then, so yeah, that was announced for 2026. And that was mainly the big thing. But we got some other news too that they've released that apparently a Venom game is going to come out in late 2025. So we're going to get that before the Wolverine game, which is probably going to feel like advanced DLC for Spider-Man 2, kind of like how Miles Morales, like that game felt like expanded DLC in a sense for Spider-Man on PS4. Kind of. Obviously, it's its own game, but it's like, it's just taking what we got and just kind of expanding a little bit with a different character. And that's what I think Venom's going to be. And it's cool because, like, when you play as Venom, it's only for a little segment. It's fun. It's fun in Spider-Man 2. And what will be better is if they make it open world, you get some different skins. I think that'd be sweet. So that's what's come out late 2025, and I'm curious how that goes. And then that's not even it. They announced that we're getting Spider-Man 3 end of 2028. I'm like, dude, these people released everything. Sucks that it's 5 years away until we can get Spider-Man 3, but that's okay. It's okay. So yeah, I don't know how many of you are gamers out there, but I'm amped about that news because I love Insomniac. I love what they've done. Apparently, with these leaks, they're making a new Ratchet and Clank game, which is cool. Yeah, Insomniac, like, they have a lot of content on the horizon. Oh, and then they announced with this leak that apparently in 2020 or 2030, 7 years away, they're doing an X-Men game, which could be sweet. Apparently, this leaked gameplay for the Wolverine, I wasn't able to see this part. It was taken down almost everywhere. Was that you were able to play as Jean Grey? I'm like, oh shit! So we can play as other X-Men within this game. So it'd be sweet to have an X-Men style game. And I'm telling you, probably after Spider-Man 3, probably in like what 2035, they might tackle an Avengers game, which could be sweet. Avengers versus X-Men, where you bring in Spider-Man, could be tight. Could be tight. But yeah, guys, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all this news today? Before I gotta head out of here, like, how do we feel about Majors? Do you think he can come back from this after whatever sentence he serves? I could see him 10 years from now, maybe trying to make a comeback. Because again, people like a comeback story. They do. Just look at like Robert Downey Jr. You know, he was. A lot of people in Hollywood did not want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. But then he became one of the most iconic cinematic characters of all time, Tony Stark. And you look at Mel Gibson, with all the stuff he said back in the day, he was one of the best. He was one of the best just character actors out there. Like he was Mad Max. He was in the Lethal Weapon movies. He was in a lot of shit. And then he started directing, and he made Braveheart, which won Best Picture, and it's a great movie. But then he's gone. He's like blacklisted for like 10 years. But then he comes out, he makes an elite movie with Hacksaw Ridge, and he gets Andrew Garfield a best lead actor nomination and a best picture nomination. It didn't win anything, but it was still a damn good movie. So it's like people like a comeback. People like a comeback. But yeah, John, you say you think you'll be back within 5 years? Yeah, same. But again, that bridge is just burned with Disney for sure. Sucks, but I think people will pick him up because he's a very talented guy. I mean, you're not wrong, Mark. You're not wrong. But again, we don't know everyone's situation personally. Like, it sucks, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, you choose who you're with, and like your best and your worst comes out, especially in terms of like with being within a relationship, right? So I mean, yeah, I'm not advocating for it, but again, it's still a situation where it's like you have Ezra Miller out there, even though he's probably no studio is probably going to touch him ever again, but they were only misdemeanors, right? Yeah, as you just said, John. The most he can serve is probably a year, but again, like he probably has a pretty decent lawyer. I'm sure he does, and it'll probably just be paying a lot of fines, as John said, and probably probation. Like he's probably going to take it easy for a couple of years, but then he'll probably try to get back out there. Yeah. Damn, that was something else, David. You're funny. Yeah, yeah, John, you're for sure right. It's just because you actually see there's like actual video of Jonathan putting his hands on his girlfriend. Otherwise, yeah, you're right. He probably would have gotten off scot free. Carrie, it's great to have you here. I know it's not the most exciting subject to talk about. Some guys probably he's lost his job. His career is just going to be in shambles, and he may or may not go to prison. But it sucks because I mean, it definitely puts a damper in the MCU, and I mean, the guy was talented, so it sucks to not have a good guy, good actor in the business anymore, at least for the foreseeable future. But again, it's like assaulting one. You just, as a man, you don't put your hands on a woman like that, so you should be better. And then especially with some of these like texts that were going back and forth, his ego was ginormous, so it's definitely going to humble him quite a bit. Like telling his girlfriend to be more like Michelle Obama, like I'm doing something great for my culture and stuff like that. I'm like, I mean, yeah, dude, you're a good actor, but like, don't act like you're Martin Luther King or Barack Obama, who's president of the United States. You know? Yeah, Mark, I saw that footage too, like of him running and her chasing him. I don't know how great that is. I mean, like he's just a big guy. Like he could have just been jogging. I don't think he was hauling ass like she was chasing him. So I don't know. And I agree. He made a mistake. He has to pay for it. He's going to be humbled hard through this whole process. And who knows? Someone might take a chance on him in a few years. We'll see. We'll see for sure. Are you guys interested in these Insomniac Games news at all? Because I thought it was pretty sick. If you saw any of the Wolverine gameplay, I think that game could be a lot of fun. Because I love the God of War, like the new God of War games, and like being able to do that, but with Wolverine sounds epic to me. Amped for that. And then of course the Venom game looks sick too. Oh no, he's got a God complex, Carrie. But you know, to be fair, a lot of people in the business in any way, shape, or form is gonna have one because you kind of have to have a kind of a big ego. So I saw something about Blade. Oh, that sounds sick. Comic of the year where Dracula goes to see or Blade sees Dracula. That's cool. I'm for that. All right, peace out, Carrie. It's good to have you. Good to have you. We're probably about that here soon anyway, so you're not gonna miss that much. All right, I think I might just do it though, unless you guys have anything else to say about the Kang news or Jonathan Major news, I should say, which leads into Kang news. But yeah, or the Wolverine. It all sounds good to me out of these leaks. All right, guys, I think that's gonna do it. Loved having you guys here today. I haven't talked to John in a bit. It's good to have you, Mark. You're usually around. You're a good guy to talk to. You always got to bring in that Doctor Who for sure. But yeah, guys, I guess I'm hoping to, again, I said this earlier, but in case you weren't here, so next Monday for sure, going to plan on doing a little bit of a Christmas special, talking about like some comic book movies or shows or whatever that involve Christmas in some way, shape, or form. And then the week after that, I will take the day off on New Year's Day, but we'll stream that Tuesday on January 2nd. And that's where we'll probably, we'll just talk some what if for sure. And then I'll probably have some other topic involved there too. And then the week after that, we'll have all of Echo to talk about, and hopefully I'll be able to have all that done by then. Oh yeah, I'm sure, Mark. I'm sure. Again, it looks like good stuff. It looks like good stuff. Just there's so much to catch up on. But I'm happy Doctor Who has you as a fan because you seem very passionate about it, which I love. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it here for me. I hope everyone has an awesome Tuesday, and I hope everyone has an awesome Christmas if you're not able to make it in for next week's episode, or just the holidays in general. I hope everyone is able to have some good extended time off from work, hopefully, and get to hang out with their families. But all right, guys, love having y'all here. This was a fun one. Well, maybe not fun. Fun's a hard term to use when talking about the MCU potentially being in shambles here for a little bit while they have to pivot to something new. But all right, guys, have an awesome day. I will catch y'all very soon. Bye-bye.